Hi world, it is Martha here. Trying to make sure that the camera doesn't look so bad. It's Thanksgiving today, so there should be reason for celebration because I do have a lot to be thankful for. My beautiful family and my friends and just so many things that I really am trying very hard not to take them for granted or forget about those things right now. But I am having a very rough day. I thought that if I got dressed up and looked good, I might start to feel good, but I'm still not doing too well. For those of you who clicked on here hoping that I'd give a weight loss update, I have no inkling of how I'm doing. I have not had weight loss on the brain for quite some time now, especially not this week. A lot has transpired since the last video I made, but the biggest thing I want to talk about is that my dad died. We did not have the greatest relationship, like, at all. But it had gotten better. You know, I moved away, I grew up, and not everything seemed as big as it did when I was younger or when I was living through it. I grew up and worked out a lot of my issues, and he grew up as well. And when I got the news, I was okay. I guess I was still in a state of shock, maybe. It's even weird now to say it, and I've already gone through everything. But just a lot happened. On the drive down there, I was so certain of my feelings because I'd done everything right. I went and I saw my counselor before the trip. We decided on going to the funeral and everything, and I was ready, I was prepared. You know, I got a good talk with my counselor, and she said I didn't have to say anything at all, and if I wanted to, that was fine, and if I changed my mind, that was fine too. And I was ready, and it's like it took us like 12 hours because they had some kind of a delay because of testing on the highway. But in those 12 hours, I wrote this poem that said everything I wanted to say, and things that I couldn't say, and you know, just the words for the little girl who didn't have the right father, and for the adult who had lost theirs. And I was so certain that no one was going to sway me, no one was going to change my mind on how I felt. And it is not at all what happened. I went to see my grandmother, I went to see his girlfriend, and there was just so much bickering and drama, and I was so just immensely stressed out that I got hives. And I've never truly had hives like on my arms and on my chest and on my legs and on my back, and I was just, I don't know, I couldn't deal. And then it was time to go to the wake, and you know, you go in there and you see people crying and it's upset, and you signed a little book and you go in there prepared, you know you're about to see the body, but there's something else when you look down and you see someone just completely unrecognizable, and they're saying that that's your dad. You know, I remember my dad is this strong and I don't know, he was this a big force and just full of this, I don't know, this power, and there's this man laying in a coffin, and he's small, and his body had just deteriorated so badly. I didn't know that person. And what's worse is that but as much tears as were going on, he was just filthy, you know. He was in a suit that had the strings hanging on, and there was dust on it, and it was dirty, and there was a button missing, and I couldn't handle it, and I left. And I went back to my grandma's house, and I calmed down, but it was still eating at my heart, you know, everything that was going on. And so I got my sister Jennifer, and I had her drive me back there. And I went with a needle and thread and a lint roller, and we cleaned him up. You know, I unclenched his hands and took a button. I broke the first button because I was just panicky and shaky, but the second I took the button and I sewed it so that he had all his buttons, you know. I didn't want to make it seem like no one cared. I couldn't just have him there without this button, and it bothered me so bad. Oh, God. I did not intend for this to happen, but I'm sorry. It is just, regardless of anything that he did, no one deserves to go out like that. You know? He's gonna have a lot of explaining to do for his judgment day, and I didn't want him to do that in a suit, in some rags. I didn't want God to think that no one cared for him, so that maybe God shouldn't care for him.